Hello and welcome to Saturday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic, where I think we've got something really, really wonderful for you today. It's a sequel puzzle called Mystery Prime Cages 6x6 by Qodec, one of the great brains in the world of puzzles. And Qodec has basically taken a puzzle that we featured on the channel a couple of weeks ago, which was this one, which came to us via Reddit, believe it or not, by Shintaro Fushida-Hardy. And the idea of this puzzle, which is a 5x5 puzzle, is that all of the cages had to sum to a unique prime number. And that was the conceit behind it. And it proved an incredibly popular puzzle. And this puzzle is basically exactly the same, except with the digits 1 to 6. And it's only got 2 stars out of 5 for difficulty, which is great. So it should be approachable for everybody. And I'll read the rules properly in a moment or two's time. We can have a go at this together. I have got a few things I want to mention though before we kick off today. I'll start by saying that we are closing in somehow or other on 600,000 subscribers on YouTube. A dizzying number for Mark and for me, and we wanted to say thank you basically. So if we get there, if and when we get there, hopefully, we're going to release a special puzzle pack to celebrate. We did it when we reached 500,000 subscribers. We're doing it again if we reach 600,000 subscribers, and some of the puzzles in the pack are by people like Qodec and Phistomefel, etc. So this is something that should be great. It's going to be a totally free pack of Sudokus, and all I suppose we wanted to say is, if you do watch the channel, if you enjoy our content and you're not subscribed, do think about subscribing. It's totally free to subscribe to a YouTube channel. All it means is that when we release new videos, those videos will be suggested to you. They'll be recommended to you. So there we go. I wanted to mention that. That's the first thing. The next thing is, oh yes, yesterday I had a go at the Phistomefel skyscrapers puzzle. This absolute brute of a thing. It's a Sudoku with skyscraper clues very outside the grid, and then an internal set of skyscraper clues just inside those skyscraper clues, which affect the outside clues. It's as complicated as it sounds, and it's a brilliant puzzle. It's a brilliant puzzle, but the reason I'm so pleased is I managed to solve it. And so that video, if you're interested in watching me do battle with Phistomefel, that video is already up, and I know many hundreds of you have already been watching it, so it's over on Patreon now, if you're interested in that sort of thing. Now, speaking of Patreon, we also have a very, very special monthly reward coming up at the start of June. Huge props to the constructor Blobs for this, because Blobs has taken one of my very favourite subjects in the whole of fiction, the subject being The Lord of the Rings, and created the most magnificent Sudoku hunt around the Lord of the Rings. And when I say magnificent, I really do mean that. It is an incredible thing that Blobs has done, and Blobs has even managed to get the sort of one of the world's premier Tolkien artists, Ted Naismith, to provide the art. So Blobs has got the art of Ted Naismith in this puzzle pack. I must have a teaser. Here we go. So this is Ted Naismith's art here. Gandalf, look at this. Must be entering the mines of Moria. This is a really special thing. Huge thanks to Blobs. We'll be saying more about this in the coming days, but that's coming up on the 1st of June. So we are very excited about that. Now, other things I want to say. I want to say happy birthday to a few people. So let me say, I'll start off with happy birthday to Andrew from your co-worker Jackson. Andrew Jackson. Wasn't that the President of the United States? But no, this is happy birthday, Andrew, from your co-worker Jackson. And Jackson describes you, Andrew, as one of the most positive people, who makes everyone on the team basically better just by knowing you. What a lovely thing for somebody to say about another person at work. I think back to my times at work, and I think about the number of people I could have said that about. And yes. but Andrew, that is fantastic. I think we could all learn from that, being a bit more positive around other people. So Andrew, happy birthday. I hope you get chocolate cake today. Next, I'm going to say, is it Drea? It could be Drea. I'm not sure. It could be Drea, like Andrea. Maybe Drea then. Has turned 23 today. And I know this because your boyfriend Dan wrote to us. And apparently, Drea, you got Dan into puzzles to the point where he is also a genuine fan of variant Sudoku now. So thank you for doing that. And Drea, I hope you have an absolutely brilliant birthday today, with chocolate cake, of course. Oh, now the next one, I'm late. I'm a day late and probably $1 short. Ingo, it was your birthday yesterday, wasn't it? And I know this because your wife Danny and your daughter Zelda wanted to say happy birthday to you. And apparently you are the best husband and father in the world. I think you're over there in Salzburg, if I'm not mistaken. So many happy returns. I hope you had a good day yesterday, Ingo. And then I also wanted to shout out Sean, who has definitely been through the mill of late, down there in Sydney, Australia, and is recovering from illness, and wrote us the most lovely email. And I know you're recovering with the support of your wife Mel and your daughter Lisa, who is starting to get into solving puzzles. And Sean, thank you so much for taking the time, and I am delighted to hear that you are on the mend. And that is all the news. So let's have a look at Qodec's puzzle. I will read you the rules. It won't take long to read. Each row and column contains the digits from 1 to 6, once each. Okay, so we've got to put the digits 1 to 6 there, 1 to 6 here. The digits in each cage sum to a prime number, but no two cages sum to the same prime. So if that cage sums to 13, then that cage doesn't sum to 13. Or in fact, no other cage sums to 13. And digits in a cage may repeat. Well, I would have assumed that, because that cage looks like it's got about 1,000 digits in it. So we definitely we couldn't fill that cage with unique digits if we're only allowed to use the digits 1 to 6. Because how many digits are there in that cage? Several is the answer, maybe 12. But I probably miscounted that. Anyway, do have a go. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual. But now I get to play. Let's get cracking. And the first thing I'm going to do is add up all the digits in the grid. So we've got the digits 1 to 6. So the triangular number for 6 is 21. 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6. There are 6 rows. So 6 times 21 is 126, which is the bus number I used to get home from Beckenham Junction. But that is another story. Yes, that is. Gosh, that is a blast from the past. Waiting for that bus was, it was quite annoying on many occasions, especially if it was raining. Anyway, I've got distracted. 126. So now let's work out how many cages there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm actually going to do that again, because if I get this wrong, that is going to throw off all the logic, isn't it? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, I've got 9 twice. So we have to make 9 different prime numbers add up to 126. So I'm going to add up the lowest 9 prime numbers. I probably should know what that adds up to. I don't off the top of my head. And I'm not going to include 1 as a prime number. And Mark did this puzzle the other day. It was really quite interesting to see the reaction to it, because the setter had set it, and the premise of the setting included the presumption that 1 was a prime number. And several people got even though Mark's pointed this out in the introduction and explained that obviously 1 wasn't prime, but it had to be viewed as prime for that puzzle, several people got very cross in the comments. But anyway, I don't think 1 is prime. So I'm going to assume that the smallest prime we could use is 2. So we could, let's just think about this. So 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, 17, 19, 23. So 23 is the highest prime of the 9 lowest primes. But I don't know what they add up to. I probably should do, shouldn't I? Okay, so how are we going to do this? Is there some way? Well, 23 and 17 is 40. Plus 19 is 59. 72, 83, 95, 100. I got 100. That's weird. So the first 9 primes add up to exactly 100. Well, 100 is not 126. That's very bad. That is an awful lot of degrees of freedom. That's an awful lot of degrees of freedom. Did I get the maths wrong there? Hang on. I hate this. This is one of the times when I feel most embarrassed. Apart from when I do Marty Sears fog puzzles, and Marty Sears basically dupes me for every minute of the 60 minutes it takes me to solve the puzzles. Doing mental arithmetic on camera is something I do get quite concerned about. What mistake have I made there? It's 23, so it's 40, 59. 52, 83. I still get 100. So, right, okay. In the other puzzle, I think it was completely forced, wasn't it? But this definitely isn't. So, okay. Maybe we have to do this differently then. Maybe I've got to think about this enormous cage. Yeah, okay. Okay, here is a question. Can the enormous cage sum to 23? Because if it can't, if this must sum up to 31 or something, that's going to be a different thing, isn't it? So 15... 15, 25. Yeah, okay, 25. Oh, 29. Okay, that's quite interesting. So that cage, I'm going to claim, cannot add up to less than 29. So my mathematics is being totally blown out of the water, because I was assuming that I could take the 9 lowest primes here, and I wasn't getting high enough. But that's good in a way, because this cage is confirming that I need to use higher primes, because it can't actually add up to as low as 23. I think the way I got to 29 was I said, okay, let's minimize those digits, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. And then if I make that the 5, I can make these 1, 2, 3 and 4. So the actual minimum value of those 9 cells there is therefore, I think, 25, and make that a 1-2 pair and that a 1, and I add on 4 more, and that gives me a different prime. I mean, this could add up to more than that, but it's at least 29. Yeah, okay, and that cage, yeah, that cage is adding up to at least 23, isn't it? Because it includes an entire column of the puzzle, and the triangular number for 6 is 21, so we know that those add up to 21, plus that square. Okay, so this is a 2. Oh, I've made a bit of a boo-boo here. Sorry, yeah, I assumed I was going to be doing global logic, but maybe I'm not. Right, sorry, this is the thing I'd missed. Those squares there. Oh, no, I didn't want to make them green. Let's make them blue. There's only one prime they can actually sum to, because this digit has to be selected from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So we're adding 21 to a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6 to get to a prime. Well, we can't get to 29 from 21. This would have to be an 8, and it's not. So that has to be a 2 to get us to 23. So this is a 23 cage. Right. So now none of these cages can have a 2 in. That feels like it might be doing something, doesn't it? None of these cages. So none of these cages adds up to 3. This cage is interesting as well, isn't it? Because that could be a 2, 3, or a 5 only. Yeah, I see. This is interesting. Right, look at the orange cages. So what primes do these add up to? Well, the most I could put into any of these dominoes is a 5, 6 pair. 5 and 6 add up to 11, and that's prime, and that's fine. But what other primes could they add up to then? Well, they have to be lower than 11. Well, they could be 7. That's possible. They could be 5. That's just possible with a 1, 4 pair. But they can't be anything else. So the orange ones we know are the primes 5, 7, and 11. Ah, bingo. Right. This is really clever. It's very different actually to the other puzzle, and that's a good thing. It's different in a good way, because now I can only have one. Well, firstly, this can't be 5, can it? Because we've worked out one of these is a 5 cage. But the other thing is, I can only have one of the primes 2 and 3. What was this? This was a minimum of 29. So the next lowest prime that this could be, if it wasn't 29, would be 31. But then, so when I did the 9 minimum primes, I got 100. I've now worked out that I have to take out a 2 or a 3 from my total of 100, because I had 2 and 3 in that total, and I have to add at least 29. So yeah, so if I took 2 out and put 29 in, I'd be adding 27 to the minimum. And that 127 is more than 126. So this cannot be a 3. That has to be a 2, and this has to be a 29. And now what I've done is, from my total of 100, I've taken out 3, so swipe right on 3, and I've added in 29, so I increase my 100 by 26 to 126, which is the total of the digits in the puzzle. That's beautiful. That is absolutely beautiful. So now, now because I know the green cage must add up to 29, I can fill it in, because there was only one way of that working. I had to have a 1 here, a 1, 2 pair here. This has to be a 5, because this has to be a 1, 2, 3, 4 quadruple. So these are a 1, 2 pair. These are a 3, 4 pair. Where is where's 2 in that row? It's got to be here. These squares are 1, 3, and 4. I might just put that in and just see if we can do better than that. Okay. Now what do we do? I know that... Well, I also know what these cells have to add up to, don't I? I don't know what they are individually, but I know that they are the other primes I included in my original set, which I've not used yet. So they are 13, 17, and 19 in some order. Right, so this is 13, I think. If this was 17, 17 and 2 is 19. these two squares would have to add up to 2, because I know that the whole column sums to 21. And I can't make two different Sudoku numbers only add up to 2. So this is 13, 14, 15. These add up to... Oh, this is beautiful. Look at this. These two add up to 6. Well, that means they don't involve a 3, because then I'd have to put double 3 in. They don't involve a 4 here, because this would be a 2. So this is 1, this is 5. Now, what does this add up to? This adds up to 11, 7 or 5. Well, it doesn't add up to 7, and it doesn't add up to 5, so it adds up to 11. Oh, here we go. Look, that can't add up to 5. Oh, sorry, I could have seen that before. It can't be 2, 3, and it can't be 1, 4. So this has to add up to 7 now, and it has to be 3, 4. So this is a 1. This has to be a 1, 4 pair, because it's got to add up to 5. That's the cage. That's the orange total we haven't used yet. So this becomes 3. This is 4. Don't use that by Sudoku. That would not be right. These are a 5, 6 pair. This is a 6 by Sudoku, not a 7. There are no such thing in this puzzle. This is 1. This is 4. This is 3. This is 4. This is 2. This is 1. Oh, Qodec, you have produced something. What a lovely tribute as well. To that earlier puzzle. Where is 2 in that congregation of digits? 4, 3. These are, well, that's a naked single. That's a 4. That's a 3. So these squares are 5 and 6. So that cage adds up to 17. Well, that's a very good thing for it to add up to. And this must be the 19 cage then. So let's check that we're getting to the right number here. These are 3 and 5, and that is 19, so that's going to be right. Ah, there we go. That one didn't get a colour. I feel bad for it. There we go. That is absolutely beautiful. Wow. Qodec, take a bow. That is, what a lovely tribute. Are we going to get 7 by 7 next? I bet you we get one. I bet you we get one. So 5 by 5, 6 by 6 mystery prime cages. That is an absolute joy. Let me know in the comments how you got on. I enjoy the comments, especially when they're kind. And we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.